Welcome to Friends Like Us Review and Preview. Another one. Marina Franklin here with my assistant.
Evelyn Frick.
Yes, I let you do it this time. I was off last
Yeah.
week. And we are just catching up. We always start early so that we can grab the Facebook stream as well. So, welcome those of you who always wait, I don't see the chat.
Oh, it's different now. It's like on the side. I know. I just noticed that.
Oh my god, like, as much as they try they keep changing these platforms,
I
and I'm
know.
like, there's something to, like, keeping it the same. Maybe it's
Yeah.
old of me to be like, "Can't we just leave the iPhone, like, just so I don't have to update the iPhone for another year?" Like
No, I'm totally there with you. I'm like, no one asked for this.
I don't wanna go out and get another Mac laptop. I don't
Yeah.
It's annoying. So, what's going on with you, Evelyn? What have you been doing?
Well, I feel like I've been watching like the numbers
I thought you were about to say
in
you slept.
well, I have been doing that. But I've been watching the numbers in New York City and they're slowly going down. So I feel like I've been slowly venturing out into the world a little bit more. And it's very funny, like kind of in line with the episode of Friends Like Us this week. This morning, I sat down and started scheduling a bunch of doctor's appointments, which has been good. I feel like this is the first time in a while I've felt like settled in New York. And since I'm from kind of close by, the last like year or so, I've still been going to like my doctors from Pennsylvania. So now I'm actually like setting up appointments and finding doctors in New York.
It's gotta be
Um,
hard.
it's hard, and it's also my girlfriend and I were, like, trying to find, like, the same doctors to go to, but we're on different insurance
Mm.
plans, which makes it really difficult. But thus far, it's going okay. I have scheduled a dentist appointment, and I'm gonna call a, like, primary care office on Monday, and I'm really hoping that, from there, they can, like, refer me to, like, OBGYN and, like, eye doctor, so that's felt very, very good and productive, and that's kind of been my main focus for today thus far.
So we are on the same wavelength because
Yeah.
I spent 2 days doing exactly that, what you
Oh,
said.
wow.
Well, like, I have doctors, but, like, today I got my shingles vaccine, right?
Yeah.
I set that up because I feel like
Yeah.
I'm far out now from all the vaccines I've gotten. And then,
Yeah.
I was made fun of too by Keith Robinson for getting the vaccine. He was like, "No one is running out to get shingles vaccine. Everyone's getting He's like, "They gotta dust off the shingles box." I was like, "No, you have to get the vaccine." I was like, "And I'm getting all my blood work done next week,"
Yeah,
which
that's
I'm
good.
nervous about,
I
because
hate
and
that.
then I made sure my mammogram appointment was set up, and it
Yeah.
wasn't it's funny. You call these places and they give you the rigmarole. I forgot. I used to do that on stage and I forgot about it. But this rigmarole they give you, they like call this person and you call that person and you put on hold.
Yep.
Then you get the answering service. Then they say they'll call you back by end of day. Then they don't call you back by end of day.
They don't.
Then you gotta call back the next day, which I did. I had called back the next day. I get a secretary. She's like, "Oh, you need to talk to this person." I'm like,
Oh
"What's
my
the
god.
number? What's the
Yeah.
one number?" Because no one, you can't talk to a person anymore. You got all
No.
these robots and you got
Mhm.
all these bots and systems, and it's just like, no wonder, people just don't want to go in and get
Yeah.
checked. It's just, it's like it's a separate job in itself,
Mhm.
making sure you get healthy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And yeah, exactly. Like how are we like supposed to like with like having like jobs also like handle this? And in addition to like being super complicated, like it feels like very impersonal just like calling like a doctor's office and getting a robot. It's like do you actually want me to come in? Like I let me talk to someone, not just like a
Yeah.
scheduling robot.
Yeah, it's insanity. I mean, to find out that, I am, I'm wearing my breast cancer survivor shirt today.
Oh, nice.
I like how you have the black on over your t-shirt. It's
Yeah.
popping, girl. It's popping.
Thank you.
But it's like to find out when I called that the doctor hadn't put the prescription in right.
Oh God. That's also another thing.
So I'm looking at it and I'm calling to check. And they're like, "She didn't do this right. It expired." And I go,
Oh.
"Okay. So why did it expire? What was she thinking?" And I love this woman's answer. She said, "Honey, I don't know what she was thinking." That's what she said.
I love that.
No, it's so funny. I do feel like we were talking about before, like the shingles vaccine, which I just got. I wasn't thinking I was going to have a side effect, and now I'm thinking I am a little drowsy,
Yeah.
but no more drowsy than I normally am. So this is good.
Yeah, I know nowadays I just feel like just like being inside and also like because it's winter and it's cold, I feel like I'm just like in a state of like being drowsy kind of all the time. So like when like I got the booster, like, oh, you might feel drowsy. And it's like that's just kind of how I am anyway now.
Yeah. Yeah, the drowsiness is like, all right, well, whatever.
Yeah.
But I got to get all these blood work done, and this is the thing. I talked to this woman about the mammogram. She was
Mhm.
like, I said I really didn't like the way they treated me the last time.
Yeah.
I got in a fight with this woman because it really hurt, and
Yeah.
when I told her, "Ow," like her hands were cold.
Oh,
When
yeah.
they put you in that machine, I've
Yeah.
had women or technicians, I guess, or nurses. They go, "My hands are gonna be a little cold." They warn you.
Yeah.
Or they go like this
Yeah.
to warm up their hands, That's
Yeah.
just like good bedside manner.
Mhm.
This, for lack of a better word, bitch. Her hands were so cold, and it was like it
Oh, it's
jolted
the
me.
worst.
And
Yeah.
then she was like, she just had no personality. She was
Mhm.
just like, and you run into people like that in healthcare. You run into people who are
Yeah.
they're just doing a job. They're not there. And they sometimes even bring into the job whatever they have at home.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, as a breast cancer survivor, when you go in, and I told this nurse yesterday, I said, I really didn't have a good experience. I had to get someone else.
Yeah.
And I said, as a breast cancer survivor, it's traumatic going back into a hospital. It takes a lot.
Yeah.
They need to, in some way, know that the patient they're dealing with they shouldn't be treating anyone like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
they
exactly.
should have some type of awareness. You're handling women. It's just, it's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like one of like the biggest things like I've taken away from like friends like us about like doctor's visits and like medical stuff is really like advocating for yourself. And it's important to like ask the doctor questions, like make sure you have those questions like written out like before you come in and like really like you're like your body best and like advocating for that. Cause like I mean, as a kid, like my parents set up all my doctor's appointments and stuff and took me
Yeah.
to them. So this is really like the first time that I'm like trying to find like doctors that like work for me and like are in my insurance plan. But like just because they're in my insurance plan, I need to make sure that like I actually like them and trust them and they like listen to me. And so I think friends like us has been really good in like reinforcing that for me knowing what I need to do when I go into a doctor's office.
Yeah, so yeah, because so if you're just joining us and you don't know why Evelyn is saying friends like us, it's because this is why we do every Saturday we do a preview and a review of the podcast. I have a podcast if you didn't know. And if you're just joining us, like I see here, Marcus Fuller is telling us he's from Chicago. I know you, Marcus Fuller. Thank you for joining us
Mhm.
again. I see Alan, Bruno, Adelchi, Polizzo. I see D. Always tell us where you're from and where you're at, or where you chilling, where you're
Yeah.
residing right now, so we can talk to you. But also, like this week's episode was about what Evelyn is exactly talking about, advocating for yourself as a patient. We had Jenny Saldana on, who was doing her cancerversary, her
Oh,
anniversary of
wow.
when she was diagnosed. And, gives great advice, and she goes in on some details that a
Mhm.
lot of people don't really understand. I mean, it's not on our forefront, the
Yeah.
fact that you could have breast cancer or the fact that you can be diagnosed with anything. We don't, we think we're going to live forever and everything's going to be fine. But it's all,
Yeah.
I mean, we're in a pandemic and we all know now that, nothing is forever. But there are
Mhm.
some things that you can do, to make life better,
Yeah.
and that is by taking care of yourself health-wise and advocating for yourself. It's a great episode,
Mhm.
to listen to. So was there anything that stood out in that episode to you that of what Jenny was saying, or
That's a good question. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it's always just, like, really powerful for me to, like, hear survivors telling their story and just also
Mhm.
to, like and, like, Jenny was talking about, like, her cancerversary, just I kept, like, thinking, like, we've had Jenny, like, on the, like, podcast, like, quite a bit, and it's just, like, so exciting to see, like, how she's, like, thriving, and it's, like,
Mm.
possible to thrive, like, after you've had cancer, and so that's always just, like, a really, nice thing that I think about when she's on.
Yeah, she is thriving, and she's funny, and she's got bubbly personality, and she
Yeah,
brings a lightness to it, something that,
absolutely.
can be very heavy, I do know the one thing that stood out to me, was that she had someone say, "Get over it. Don't talk about it anymore.
Oh, yeah,
You've
that's right.
already survived. Why do you always have to talk about your breast cancer?" And I think that is just like someone projecting onto her something they don't wanna hear, or,
Yeah.
but it's really important to acknowledge those days of, you know, of what happened to you so you can move forward, so you can remember. Do you know, like, 2 years out, for me, you sorta start to lose the fear or the pain
Mm,
you're going through, and so you start to forget, and you start to go back into your habits.
yeah.
And you may even lose some of what you were grateful for, you know?
Mm,
So it's really important to have an anniversary, a cancerversary.
yeah, absolutely.
So
And
hello, DJ Eric Prince, sorry, and
oh, no,
Tamara
it's fine.
Payne, and, Mike Dickatoo, and D oh, Mar from ooh,
Hmm.
okay. Marhaba from
Yeah,
Dammam,
I'm looking up
okay.
where that
D
is.
Nairobi, Kenya. All right. Wow. I always love this. Look at this. Born in Italy, ended up in Spain now. Wow. That's
Yeah.
awesome, Adelchi. Los Angeles, Fawcett Media. Oh, hello. You're always here. So we got Chicago,
Yeah,
Los Angeles, Spain, Kenya.
that's a great collection of places.
I can't get this one, D. You're gonna have to help me.
I think that might be I looked up, I think that's Saudi Arabia, I think.
Oh, is Arabic for hello. Oh,
Oh,
hello.
there you go.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, no, yeah, I was just saying that I think that's, Saudi Arabia, but in terms of the episode, I think, like, people don't wanna talk about people who haven't had cancer don't wanna talk about it because it's scary, and it's a s I think a scary thing to talk about, but I think actually and I've definitely felt that before, it's hard to talk about, um, health issues. But at the same time, I think it's like helpful for people who haven't gone through that and haven't survived that to listen because like definitely for me like now I know exactly like how I need to like every month be doing self exams and like listening to my body and like going in for mammograms as soon as like I get to the age where I need to be doing that. So yeah, it's definitely important to listen.
Yeah, mammograms are, and it's getting younger and younger, just like
Mhm.
prostate exams are, I mean, yeah, prostate exam, or no, I didn't, what did I get checked?
Oh, pap smear?
Not pap smear, oh God, I forget what it was, where you check your colonoscopy. Thank you so
Mm.
much. I was like, I'm not getting a prostate exam. Colonoscopy, yes, that's getting younger and younger. It used to because
Mhm.
they're seeing, I mean, we've had so much loss in the past week of
Mhm.
just like comedians like Bob Saget. Did you know
Yeah.
Bob Saget?
Yeah, I knew, like, I mean, I think like a lot of people my age, I was first introduced to him in Full House, and then from there, I like when I first like I was a kid, I just started watching it. I didn't realize that he was a stand-up, and then from there was introduced to his work. So yeah, it felt like losing America's dad almost in a weird way.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then it's crazy the amount of loss that we've already had in 2022, like Louis Anderson.
Louis Anderson.
It's
Yes.
yeah,
Now,
it's
Meatloaf, it was sad, but he was also, unfortunately, an anti-vaxxer, very public about it.
yeah,
And it was COVID, you know. It's always sad when people still pass from this, no matter what their beliefs are. But it was just
yeah,
like, these things are, I mean, as we're talking about, a lot of these things can be unavoided, like cancer is happening younger and younger, and it's also happening, these men are like, I'm thinking like, on The View,
mm.
um, what's her face? I forget her name. I just smoked so much pot, I can't remember nothing. Joy Behar said that.
Mm.
She goes, comedians used to last until like 90, and it's sad when comedians pass. Like 60 is actually very young.
It is, yeah. I mean, I didn't really fully realize that until like now my parents are in their 60s. And yeah, Louis Anderson was just slightly older than my parents, and same with Bob Saget. It's really kind of jarring. Like they could have. It's unfortunate because they could have had so much more time.
Yes, so much, but it's also life.
Hmm.
You know, life is life. We're not
Yeah.
supposed to be here forever, so there's a positive note.
Yeah. Did you see that Regina King's son passed
Yes, I
away?
did. On top of all, I mean, this like it just the tragedy just keeps rolling in. Regina King's son, yeah, suicide.
Yeah, which like it as any kind of death is tragic, but I really do love Regina King, so it feels
Yes.
like even more of a sad thing.
What? Wait, Adelchi, what are you talking? Aliens use colonoscopy
Oh,
a
like
lot.
probing.
Oh no, I get it. Oh, thank you, Jake Smith, for saying we're perfect. We are.
Oh,
And
hello.
I think we have to introduce our friend for the hour. Yeah, George Burns did he until 99.
That's
Hey,
crazy.
Stace Williams. Hello. Yeah, it's sad for Regina King. It's really sad. But yes, and yes, we are beautiful. Thank you. All right, let's bring on this man. Here he is. You guys been waiting for him. Oh, love from Ohio.
Oh, nice. No.
I have bad news. Eddie
Oh
Murphy
no.
is dead. Dead
No,
tired of the price of high cost of living. I get what? Hello, everybody.
so where were we in the grand scheme of this? God, Juskow, never ever again. Never
Every time.
ever.
Well, I mean, every comedian is dying. It's absolutely awful. First of all, I didn't know Meatloaf was an anti-vaxxer. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Are we supposed
Yeah.
to feel bad then? Maybe
Yeah,
not.
I
But
mean, I go ahead, Evelyn. Yeah,
I
what are
feel
you gonna?
like it feels like a little, like almost a little bit more tragic, just because like it like he was very much kind of like, oh well, just like whatever, if it happens, it happens. So it feels like almost like it
he's
seemed like it was
overweight and old.
coming.
It's not
Yeah,
cool.
like a little bit inevitable.
I still
And also,
say,
like Maria said, it could have been prevented.
right. I agree because 74 is too young, actually.
Mhm.
Um, I told you I saw Bob Saget's funeral last week, and I was just thinking
Oh,
about
you
it.
were
You
on the
just
virtual. You went.
yeah,
You were invited.
yeah,
Oh, did you
I
know
did.
Bob Saget?
Yes, he was. We had dinner together a couple times. We hung out in Vegas once. I was friendly with his daughters. They used to come see me down at the Cellar, and I saw him recently. Like and we were finally getting. No, we weren't that close, but we were getting closer. Where we
Mhm.
finally could see each other, and he knew my name by now, and everything. He was so nice, and the best part about him was he was like really great to his kids, like, I mean, and he was great to his television kids. Like you just said, America's Dad. I mean, he really was, because he is that. It won't be like Bill Cosby. We're not going to find out shit later. I think this guy was the real deal. And to that whole show are also close. It's rather fascinating, because you hear all those horrible stories about kids on growing up on TV, but they loved him and he liked his daughters, the exact 3 daughters and 3 daughters. It just couldn't be more interesting. And again, his daughter said something really great at the funeral. Not trying to be funny. She was just saying stuff about her dad. And she said, my dad was the best. He would be in the car and always be like, can you believe I'm your dad? Isn't that funny that I'm your dad? And then he would point out other guys and he'd be like, can you imagine if that was your dad? Wouldn't it be awful? So it's so cute. And
that was cute.
Sorry about that, Fawcett. I know. I know. Sorry about that. The Eddie Murphy thing. I was thinking it would be the funniest way to make a Simpsons kind of thing going. Meanwhile, I was watching The Golden Child last week, because even though that's a bad movie, Eddie Murphy is definitely my hero. And whenever I'm looking up movies late at night, and I don't know if you guys do this, are you always like looking up stuff like people, see what they look like now? That's a movie from 85. So, women or men, there's a woman in the movie, and it's fascinating when there's relevant stuff today. I haven't heard about her at all. Her name's Charlotte Lewis, and she has just last year started a complaint about Roman Polanski raping her, which is the king of he began all this Me Tooing so many years ago. And whether, I mean, it sounds correct, but then there's also this other testimony where it wasn't correct in the 80s. And his thing, and I believe her, was he was like, no, I sleep with all my actresses. That's how I get to know them. When she was
He said that?
Yeah. When she was auditioning for the movie Pirates. I totally believe that. But what's bad about this is that the woman that he, did rape at 15 or whatever with Jack Nicholson, that story, the legendary story that he had to leave the country for. The worst part is that woman has tried to say, look, I don't want him coming back. I don't want to prosecute it. I just want this over. I don't want to know about it anymore. And then unfortunately this, Charlotte brings it back. And then they mention this poor woman's name again, who's been going through this. She's like in her 40s now. And she's like, I just want to be done. And now it's like a media problem that she's dealing with. She's made her peace with Roman Polanski. They might have even spoken. And she just wants her name not in the media. And they just keep putting her in.
Yeah. Oh, is there a better topic?
Oh, I thought that was a pretty interesting topic.
Well, Jake, I think, the thing is, there's a lot of loss right now that's going on in the world. I mean, we are losing so many funny people. And so this is
normal, or does this happen once in a while?
It's like I was saying, though, like George Burns lived to 99. We are sort of like losing funny people at a very young age.
But
I mean, look,
maybe this is the way it happens and we forget. Once you reach 50 for men, it's a crapshoot. And, we know I'm sure all of us know a person whose dad died in their like mid 50s. That was a complete shocker. But
it's also like the food we're eating, cancer is on the rise.
The fact that I'm still alive is a goddamn miracle.
It's a miracle. I mean, let's knock on a lot of wood. Knock on your wood, Evelyn, because my God, that would be a horror. But the thing is like, and you do have to start eating healthy, Jessica. The thing is like, our food is not the same. Let's be honest. It's just not, the type of meat, that's why I became vegan, because meat is very cancerous. It is
You don't think it's better than it was years ago? Like they figured out a way to make it kind of cleaner and more safe?
You go to White Castles.
Yeah, I just went there last week.
It's probably cleaner and more safe for like
that's a good
people.
Cleansing tool, by the way. It really does work. It's fascinating. People make fun of it, but you could use that before a colonoscopy. It works every time.
Look at
I don't know what's in that stuff.
Fawcett liked the material. Come in guns blazing with the Polanski material, brother.
Yeah,
I agree.
Oh, so McDonald's I was just talking about this, and I'm still will never understand. They made a vegan burger, and they were working with, and I just can't figure out why, because I've been posing the question at comedy clubs and stuff like, the fact of the matter is, Marina, you're a vegan. Would you ever even go to a McDonald's with a friend who wasn't and sit there and order something?
It's unhealthy no matter what. It's, you know what it is? These are options because they know these food industries are they're one, it's a business and they know what's going to happen. Veganism is not just about health, it's also about saving the planet, saving the planet. And so at some point, I promise you that we're all going to be vegan. I promise you.
I don't have a problem. I mean, I'm ready to
No,
have
yes,
a
yes,
steak.
you do.
No, I don't mind having, I mean, if everything just tastes the way it does, I'm okay with that. I don't
it's just
I'm sure
unhealthy.
they can make a fake steak that I'll probably like someday.
It's unhealthy to have that type of like fried like that. Like
fried is
Kentucky
unhealthy,
Fried
but
Chicken has like
I know, I've
vegan
been
nuggets.
Oh, it's so good though.
You've been eating Kentucky Fried Chicken?
Yes, the last 2 weeks.
Jessica, what do we have to do?
I don't know. It's been delicious. I figured out a way to order where I
We
don't
need
have
an
to get the whole
intervention.
bucket of chicken, because I was getting the bucket of chicken. And now I've been getting the extra crispy and just like 4 pieces of chicken and then the double sides.
No, you
And
got.
so
Oh
they bring it
God.
up here all the way
Why
from
don't you
2nd
just start
Avenue.
stabbing yourself now? What is wrong with you?
I think I'm trying to kill myself. I think I'm depressed. I think that's what I do.
We're all
It's depressive eating. It absolutely is. If I have activities or things, I haven't left the house in 2 weeks. If I have activities, I probably wouldn't eat like that.
I like what Jake Smith is saying here. Wow, Marina looks strong and young for a vegan. I went and got my oh, you stay away from those things. I got my what's the shot?
Oh, shingles.
Thank you. I got my shingles shot today.
Oh, today. How's that make you feel?
I don't know. I was, you know, who our friend Lois was like, oh, you know.
Yes, that was so funny.
We talk about every week. If you're just new to the show, Lois is a good friend of mine. She is an end of care person.
Will you tell Colin that?
And no matter what we do, there's always, every time her hello is telling you someone died. It's just it's just what she does. It's like she'll tell you that someone died. She'll tell you about hip problems. She'll tell you about, like, it doesn't matter, but
she doesn't even know she's doing it.
She doesn't think anything's wrong with it. And honestly, she's not affected by it because she's an into care person. So for her, it just rolls off. But for a lot of people, it's very shocking and jarring.
Yeah.
So like last night, she was telling everyone about someone who died. And every time I bring her around, she shows, so-and-so died. So last night she's like, so-and-so died. The stepfather of so-and-so died. And I was like, oh.
Well, at least this one kind of makes sense because this was her longtime boyfriend's stepfather or something, right? But I don't think anyone else needs to know. When she's like, I've got to tell everybody. Maybe it's. I know it's important to her because she had that was a pretty serious thing. But I don't know if any of the other comics or anybody cares that. I mean, they care, but at a festive occasion, it might.
Yeah. She'll bring up all kinds, and then, just to nail it in, she texted me last night. Can you make sure to text someone and tell them that so and so died? And I sent it to. I always send these to Juskow because no one else really gets or would believe this. But she sends. I told her I was having a good weekend, and she's like, so and so is now going to stay in a senior citizen home, and so committed suicide. But I'll be able to pick up their shift, and you're like.
There was some years ago at the Improv, there was some comic that used to just really depress me. Like he always would, it was just like this, maybe not death, but he was just so depressing. Every time I saw him was depressing. And I remember everybody knew about it. So I remember once I was talking to my friend Danny and I saw him in the window about to come in the Improv. So I said to my friend Danny, I've never been this depressed in my life before. I just don't know what I'm going to do. And then he comes in and "Oh, hi, Bob," and he was laughing so hard because he knew I set it up. Oh, great, this guy. Because we all know people like, I mean, Lois is kind of a joy, but there's always people that I guess kind of rub you the wrong. I'm that guy. That rub you
Yes.
the wrong way in a that makes you either feel good or bad. I suppose we have people in our life. Marina Franklin makes me happy.
Oh,
I
thank
know
you. You
that's a
make
fact.
me happy, Juskow.
Obviously, Evelyn does. That's a no-brainer. I mean, look at her. I mean, she just has that joyful face. It's
Rachel called me
gorgeous.
this morning. Little Frankie makes me happy.
Oh, do you want to see a picture? I just sent you a picture of something, but let me send you the picture of her and Frankie. It's so cute. Is that okay?
Oh, thank you, Jake Smith. Yes, while you're doing that, I'm going to go through some of the comments. I feel blessed. Oh, thank you, Jake Smith. I really appreciate that. Let's see here. I know Eric put something about I thought this was really important. I didn't think I would make it past 30 living in Harlem. Yeah, because the produce was not even around. I mean, now
Well,
it is.
they coming.
That's my famous joke.
Love it.
But yeah, years ago before the FDA horrible stuff. This horrible stuff that's
Well, that's what I said
included.
years ago. Isn't it better now? That's why
People are more informed, and you still got to really look at the ingredients. You got to look at the packages and see what's in it. Anything that's get everything non-GMO, not modified, genetically modified. You don't want to eat genetically modified food. I mean, doesn't that make sense?
It does, but aren't grape tomatoes great? And I think those are genetically modified. They didn't have those when we were growing up. They had cherry tomatoes, not grape tomatoes. They're delicious.
Well, that's why you also get everything organic. Now, I know I'm very annoying. This is what I said on stage last night. I said the reason I don't think I ever got COVID is because I'm vegan, not because I'm healthier, but because no one wants to be around vegans.
Oh, that's good.
I'm sure someone's doing that joke now, so I don't mind doing it.
Here, look at my picture I sent you. I sent you two. I sent you one.
Oh, in my email. Okay, all right. Okay, I got it. Let's see this. Share the screen. I sound like I think
an old person.
Yeah, but it's because I'm like
don't share your phone number and your social security number.
I had to delete that.
Well, fortunately, everybody in the chat room is rather a delight. So I think they won't.
I had to delete that from the. So what is this?
Oh, not that. Oh, well, that was when I was just the girl from my podcast put together.
I'll change it.
The city drinking game.
I'll go back.
I thought you might find funny because it's really funny. She's only listened to 3 episodes and she got it all right, but that's the one with Rachel.
Oh my God!
Frankie.
Do we all see that? Look at little Frankie.
She's so cute.
Look at little.
And when she's looking at her bubbles, Pete's blowing bubbles.
Yeah,
Isn't that the cutest?
Rachel was talking to me today and blowing bubbles at the same time. It was hilarious.
Oh, that baby was. Look how happy she was with the bubbles coming in.
Yeah, she's such a little beautiful little girl, and she's so happy, and she loves going. Uh-oh.
Oh my God, that's my favorite. Yeah.
Uh-oh. And you know what I realized? That commercial, uh-oh, spaghetti, they were brilliant with that.
Yeah. You know who's blowing those bubbles? Rachel's baby daddy.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I see what he brought back. That's why I said, uh-oh.
You don't have to show that. I wasn't sure if you'd want to see that. It was just so funny.
What is it?
It's a girl who's just been listening to the podcast. She lives in Chile, and she made a drinking game for my podcast. And it's so spot on that I was just so impressed. It's like, drink whenever I quote the movie Clueless. If I mention gambling, if I talk about my mother or my sister, if I get annoyed at someone, or if I sing, it's I don't know. I thought you'd find it funny.
It's very accurate.
It is very, very accurate. Accurate. All. Oh, okay. Well, that was a delight. That was fun. All right. Well, hide on stream. Let's talk about some serious talk. Oh, well, first let me go to this, and then we're going to talk about the serious topic about police
Damn
in New
right,
York
Tamara.
City and Eric
Mhm.
Adams and cryptocurrency. I mean,
Oh,
there's so
isn't that
much.
weird? Yeah.
That joke was musical. What?
She's talking about your joke, the one you just said.
Which? Oh yeah. I had this happen last night. I had a customer before I was going on stage because the comedian on stage was taking too long.
Was it Al Franken?
No, they just were bringing me up, but they were, sometimes the host wants to,
Was
get
it your
his
old boyfriend at the comic strip? Was it? What's he doing? He's driving crazy. He's not bringing her up.
I know that was funny, but it was like that, right? So I'm
Yeah.
still just standing there waiting, and this girl who was sitting there taps me on the shoulder and asks for more napkins.
What?
Oh my god.
She was a customer? Oh, that's.
And she was like this. She goes,
Oh.
and
God.
I had a mask on, so I'm like, I try not to get upset because I do realize that
Oh, maybe
the wait staff are the only ones who have the masks on. So I try not to get upset, but then I'm thinking to myself, even if I was a server,
Yeah.
you don't touch. What do you tap in for?
Right.
Yeah.
That'd be like, it's like the equivalent of this.
Yes. And but I love the fact that she didn't know that I wasn't a server because I don't need her tip. So I just stared at her.
Well, DJ Eric Prince has a good comment.
Were you wearing all black? Everyone was wearing black though. Comics wear black. I mean, I saw a couple of comics going on stage. They all had on hoodies and stuff. I thought that too, right?
Well, the hoodies are, you're not going to think that's a waiter.
I'll tell you what, I was all black. That's what was really going on. For real. Okay. I'll tell you what was black. It was me. So when I got on stage, I was like, bitch, did you get your napkins?
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Was she embarrassed or did she laugh?
She was laughing because she didn't understand. I was really wanted to like stab her through her heart and soul, and I had to like squash because, when a comic gets angry on stage, you lose the audience.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they didn't know whether or not I was joking or not, but I was
Right.
about to I was like,
Well, that's
Lord have
smart.
mercy, this girl.
It's an interesting lesson.
Can I get some napkins? Can I get some napkins?
Mm.
Oh, Lord. I told Esty, who books the comments, she was like laughing. I was like, I swear to God. She was like, I've never waited tables. She never waited. Did either of you wait tables?
Yes.
Yeah, I have.
Where'd you work?
I worked at a creperie in my hometown when I was in college. Like I'd come back home for breaks and I'd work there. And it was so it's interesting, like you mentioning Eric Adams earlier, him talking about low skill workers like a few weeks ago. Honestly, like working in a restaurant is truly one of the hardest things in the world because people, like, you have to be like nice to people when they're super demanding and tap you on the shoulder for napkins and stuff like that. But yeah, so I've done that, and it was it was a really tiring job. You're just on your feet all the time.
Yeah.
When I did it, it was in the 80s, and I only went there. I was moving back home after college, and I wanted to meet girls. So it was a Bennigan's. I was choosing between the Bennigan's or the Fridays, or we had all those kind of places in town. And I started waiting tables, and I started being very effeminate because I was getting really good tips. I'm like, oh my God, you guys are my favorite table. And because AIDS had just started, they asked me to stop doing that because no one knew how you caught it. So just by me being like, oh my God, you guys are fantastic. They told me I had to stop, or they asked me politely to stop because people thought they were going to get AIDS from just me waiting at their table. Nobody knew, remember? Nobody knew how it was spread.
Crazy.
I mean, obviously that's ridiculous, but again, everybody was terrified.
But so like initially you get better tips for doing that?
Oh yeah. Because there was no, especially with a guy and a girl, like a couple, it was good in every way.
Sure, yeah.
Like there was no problem, but yeah, it was funny, but with AIDS again, I remember we were getting high with my friend Al, and we all knew he was gay, and we were sharing a joint. And when he left, we weren't making fun of him because we loved the guy, but we were nervous. We didn't know how AIDS was spread. We didn't know you had to technically, do stuff. But you know what I mean, Marina? You remember, like, it was just all, nobody knew what was happening.
I'm
Kind
gonna
of like
let you.
COVID in
I'm gonna
many
let you
ways.
dig that little hole. Like, you know what?
Oh, I don't care.
I don't remember because I wasn't really
Oh, I'm
like
older than you, so yeah, it's
I never I you know like I never I guess I don't remember the pandemic of it. It's kind of
well,
interesting. Like,
I'm our age difference. I'm 8 or 10 years older than you, so that would
mhm.
make that would be the difference. When it happened when I was in the middle of college, and then certainly when I got out of college, it was big, like '86. And in fact, I remember because the new James Bond movie had come out, and everybody was curious what they were going to do with James Bond, and because you can't bed all those women nowadays. So I remember they just mention it. It was Timothy Dalton, and they go, "Did you practice safely?" "Yes, I did." It was something like that. But he still, James Bond always had to bed 2 or 3 women in every movie. So they were. I remember that being the thing. Well, how's James Bond going to handle AIDS? I mean, how ridiculous are we?
Right.
That was a thing, but it was a big thing for me.
Did
He's
you
my
put the
hero.
bass
He's
in?
got to bed many women.
Did you put the bass in your voice, Juskow?
You mean like this? No. What do you mean? Like when? No, it's just like this. Oh my God.
Gay voice, like
I'm going to
Mateo
get you the
says.
ultimate nachos. Trust me, they're much better than the regular ones. We put the McDonald's nachos too. Who wants a chimichanga?
I mean, I had a uncle who was he was like my dad's business partner. He was like my dad's best friend.
Mhm.
And yeah, but he was my first experience with like a gay man who was just like very like, he used to always call me, I was a teenager, so I didn't even know I was like, I guess they're dating. I didn't ever gave a shit about anything. But all I know is he used to always call me bitch, like bitch. And the
Wow.
first time he did it, it terrified me. I was like, oh my God, I'm not a bitch. And then he did it so often. He goes, listen, bitch. And I was like, and when I say he's not like what you're probably thinking black man. He was not. He's a white man. He was German. He looked like a very like serious white businessman walking down the street. But when he would get drunk with my dad, he'd be like, bitch. And like when Patti LaBelle was singing, I remember one time he was like, scream, bitch, scream. And he had this boyfriend that did not like us. It was kind of weird because now that I look back at it, I always wonder, I was like, did the boyfriend not like us?
I don't think it's you. I think the boyfriend always doesn't like straight people.
You think that's what it was?
It has nothing to do with race. It's always like it's always the boyfriend who just doesn't care to hang out with straight people, because the boyfriend is usually, if they had a boyfriend at that time that you're saying when you were little.
Yeah, it was like 80s.
And they had a relationship.
89, 88.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You said this guy had to get drunk to realize he was kind of gay, but the
boyfriend,
boyfriend,
he was gay. We
right.
Knew,
but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And to have a boy, usually when you have a boyfriend, he's more like, I don't care for straight people. I'm sure that's what it came down to.
Maybe. I always noticed that. I was wondering was he jealous about my dad's relationship with his, because they were best friends. Like my dad
probably had something to do with that too.
Yeah. And it was so funny because he looked out for us as kids. Like his name was Heinz.
He was
and
German.
Yeah, very German. And he looked out for us like huge. Like he was a major part of my life. And then we lost touch. And that's another story. Everyone loves the DJ straight. Everyone loves the straight or gay. Oh yeah. It was National DJ Day like last week. I don't even know they had a national DJ.
I didn't either.
Well, they do, but it's named after me. Thank you. Hello, Dave Juskow, DJ. Hello.
I feel like the shingles vaccines has me a little off today.
You just said you got high as a kite. Maybe that's what it is. What's the matter with you?
I mean, the shingles vaccine.
Now, why would you get high before you're doing your show?
I know I didn't get high. I
thought you said you
the
did.
vaccine. I got the vaccine before the show.
Oh,
because I wanted to get the vaccine because I've been waiting to get it, and I was like, I kept postponing it. And then our friend Lois was like, "Oh, do you know if you get the vaccine, you're going to be?" It took 3 days for my friend to come out of it, and I was like, everybody's different.
So you're telling me I should get it too, huh? I've never thought
Yes.
about getting
Did
that.
you
I
have the
thought that was
chicken pox?
for really older people.
Did you have no over 50?
Oh,
Which I am. Now, did you get the chicken pox?
yeah, when I was a kid, sure.
So then, yes.
I wonder if chicken pox will be like COVID. You know, like if you have COVID, it'll pop up 20 years from now or something.
I've thought about that. I've wondered that.
I mean, everybody's talking about the lasting effects and how they'll pop up or something. I don't know. It's great. It's probably just like chicken pox, like you're saying. Who knew about
Really?
shingles?
Venus. Oh, you got like the flu-like symptoms for a day or so. So I'll just watch myself. Like I was telling Evelyn before we started, I was fine, and then I'm like, well, maybe I'm not.
Well, you're just getting paranoid
Yes.
because you're thinking, right? Oh my God, I have a little pain in my head for a second because your mind is thinking, when's it going to take effect? I know I'm going to get sick.
I know, that's exactly right. And then Keith kept making fun of me. He was like, nobody's going to get the shingle. No one's running to the place to get the shingle vaccine. What is wrong with you?
What's wrong with you that you even call him when you're getting the vaccine or even tell him that? That's on you.
He
Jesus
was like,
Christ,
he
when
goes,
you
what
gonna
are they
learn your
dusting off?
lesson?
He goes, what are they dusting off the shingle? They got to dust off the shingle vaccine because no one's even. You're the only dummy. You're a real dummy. He goes, shingles only lasts 4 weeks. It's like a chest pain. I go, it's not just a chest pain.
Right.
Then when I
You're
went,
gonna
I told the lady in the office, I said, my friend was yelling at me saying it's just a chest pain. And her face was like, oh, that's so wrong.
You're gonna listen to the guy that just keeps having strokes because he won't listen to his doctor. It's like shingles is fine. You'll be fine.
I did not drink Pedialyte, Eric. I didn't. I was thinking about the Pedialyte, and I said, let me just see what happens this time. Instead, I'm drinking coffee. I'm so tired of Pedialyte and doing the right thing. So that's where I took a chance. Okay. But I want to talk about like Eric Adams and dealing with the police. Now, what do you guys think? Like, do you think that the subway needs more police, or like I had this conversation on the podcast that's coming out next week with Suba Agarwal and Corinda Dobbins. And there was this point in the conversation where we're talking about the subway, and they pushed that woman in front on the tracks. Like they were saying too many police down there. But I tend to disagree with this right now. I think we're in a bit of a situation. I mean, we had 2 cops that were shot in Harlem. We have a 11-month-old baby that was shot. I mean, my God, and stable.
And what
thank
about
God.
that poor girl at the Burger King? That's the worst.
Poor girl at
all.
the Burger King, right down the street from me. Yeah. And so it's
that was right down the street from you, that Burger King?
Not right down the street, but it's on 106. It's in Harlem. So we have a gun violence situation. We're all like just sitting ducks on the subway. I don't know. I don't feel like right now is the conversation for pulling back on security down there in the subway. I feel safe. No, we were talking and one of the guests had said there's too many police. You don't want to have more police. And I tend to disagree because I'm like, we have a very serious problem right now where New York City is really not safe, and you do have to deal with it, but you should probably have mental illness people down there as well. So you got to have both, and they have to be communicating with each other. That's me. I think reform, but I don't know. What do you think, Evelyn?
I don't know. I mean, like, I definitely I agree. Like, I think people something needs to change. Like, I don't think people feel like safe on the subway right now. Like, I definitely I haven't been going on the subway recently because of the Omicron surge, but like even before that, I didn't feel like particularly safe going on the subway in the evenings, like when it gets dark. But at the same time, like I've only ever really seen like police in the subway like escalate situations. I've never, like, this is all like anecdotally and like my own experience. Like, I've only ever seen them kind of make situations worse. So I don't know like how much they would be able to do. I don't know. I think there just needs I agree, like, I think there need to be more, like, mental health resources available for people. I think there should be some sort of, like, I don't know, like, when I studied abroad, in college, like, in Russia, like, going onto the metro in Russia, like, they had, like, a metal detector that you had to go through, like, before you, like, went, like, and swiped your card and, like, went on the escalator, and I know, like, people have been talking about in other places, like in Paris, there's like a guard kind of like protection thing that's up in front of like the tracks so that like
Yeah.
those doors open and then the metro doors open so you can only like
Yes.
walk. So like stuff like that, I think to me seems
Yeah,
like
it's like
the
common
best
sense. I've
solution.
always wondered why they just got people just standing on a platform and there's nothing.
Yeah,
It's
it's
weird in
scary.
this day and age, because I remember certainly taking the subway in the 70s with my aunt, that you could just sit right there with no fence or anything and just stare at the train. I always thought by now they would definitely have some sort of other safety measure. But
Yeah.
I've never seen the police escalate a situation down in the subway. I've always been kind of happy to see them around, I guess. But with the pushing people on the tracks, I don't think there's any way to stop that. But you, like we talked about last time, you can't be on your phone. You can't, if you're going to take the subway, you need to not text.
And that includes the police, by the way,
Yeah.
Yes, and you
because
need to
they be
pay
on their
attention.
phone. I've seen them on
Yeah.
TikTok.
Well, it's so easy. It's so easy to just be on your phone when you're not doing anything. So, but
But
in the
they
subway,
can't be on their
especially
phone.
if you're by the platform, you need to pay attention. You need to stay away from the platform if you're going to look at your phone. But I would suggest always being aware of your surroundings. That's one way to combat this. I know from complete experience. When you're not in the moment, something bad is going to happen when you're in New York City in the subway.
Cops chasing Pokemon.
Yeah, well, they have those apps, but I haven't taken the subway in 2 years. I know I told you guys, but
That should make you a happier person. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it's great. It is crazy down there. And that's why I'm saying, like, when I see an officer, I gotta be honest, I feel a little better lately. I used
Mm.
to not. I used to be like, why are you down here? But lately, because I mean, the flailing of the arms and the things that I have seen and the way they come at you, and I don't have legally, I can't have like mace. Legally, I'm not supposed to have mace. If I use it, it's illegal. If I use it wrong, let's just say the guy, it could put me in danger even more so.
Yeah.
I'm just a sitting duck. We're all just sitting ducks down there.
we're
We need
definitely sitting
protection.
ducks on the actual subway itself,
Yeah,
but
that too.
Oh
And
yeah.
the
there's so many,
platform in the area that, there's a chance you can
and in New
make
York
a move. But
City,
yeah, when you're in the subway, especially like I said, when they lock those car doors and you can't walk through, or
yes.
maybe it's bad both ways because then people are coming in that are bad news. Yeah, it's scary when you're just stuck underground with a crazy person.
Reform the police needs to happen. I'm not telling them how to do their job, but do the job. Here's the thing. I'm not against police, but I am against police who don't want to do their jobs. Do your job. That needs to happen. Reform whatever they need to do. If they need to have more community meetings with the community, with mental health, that needs to happen. Whatever it needs to happen. Today, actually, they asked for our help. Did you see that?
No.
One of the police commissioners, he was like, we're asking for the community's help, because the truth of the matter is, and Lois, who is Irish, she's like, Irish women are like the grandmothers of the police, that whenever they talk to her, they're like, oh, she's from Mother Island. She has such a different relationship with police than I do. But she said this, a lot of police officers retired, the older ones, they were
Yeah,
like, this is,
COVID. Yeah,
they're out. They're like,
Yeah.
nope, not gonna do it.
yeah. Between what happened before COVID and all the race stuff, and then COVID, so many of them retired.
They're
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
So someone's ringing my doorbell, and I did not order anything. Okay.
Why does that happen every week? What do they do this at this exact time every
No,
Saturday?
that's someone trying to get in the building to steal packages.
Oh God, you
So
got
a
to
lot
move
of
out
times, sometimes I'll go, who is it? Like real crazy, like, or one time I used like a male voice and I go,
Yeah.
who is it? Who is it?
Open the fucking door, man.
Yeah. Oh, Juskow. So no,
That's from Trading Places.
I do think it's like, it's kind of like Patrice's joke. He used to do this joke about walking down the street as a white woman. If you like are too like, oh, I don't want to cross the street because I don't want them to think that I'm racist.
But Greer does
it,
that too, no?
I think he does something like that too. But it's like, you know what? If it's danger, I think Greer does the reverse. He says white women are scary.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. But here's the thing, like, you do have to protect yourself, and you do deserve to be protected in the United States. End of story.
Yeah.
You send flowers?
Carl's thing, yeah, that's who's at the door.
I look how I was like, really?
I saw that, and then I saw you stare at it. I'm like, she doesn't believe that, does she?
Now, this is a good question. Is it worse in the winter, people going down to get warm? I think
That's
so.
the same.
I don't know.
It's the same.
It's the same outside.
Oh,
on the
she's
street.
saying like the crazies go. Nah, it's the same. It's because even in the summer, as hot as it may be, there's no sun down there, so
Yeah.
you could go down there any time of the year.
I don't
And
think
sometimes the subway is not as warm as you would think because everything's open. It depends which subway station and how far down you are.
Yeah, that's very true.
I love this one too, Venus. I got follow-up questions challenged by a neighborhood watch zealot last night. If it's vigilantes like that or the cops, I prefer the cops. You talking about the guy, the Hell's Angel guy? Is that
Curtis Lewa?
is he who ran for mayor?
Yeah. I always liked in the 80s. I liked those guys, but I remember Mike Royce telling me that, oh, you should be scared of those guys. They don't, the cops don't like them. But I thought it was cool that these other people were coming down and trying to help, but the cops hated them.
Well, that guy ran for me. He was so crazy with his cats.
He's so crazy. I know, the cats.
I mean, he's talking and then he's like, but he was talking about something really important about, this was the first time he sounded clear, he was talking about the mental guy, the one who pushed the woman in front of the tracks, the Asian woman. He said, listen, he goes, I talked to that guy, the one who did the pushing. He goes, and he was clear one day, and then there's other days where he was insane. You can't reach him, you can't get to him. You gotta literally strap him down, like, so you do need someone who knows how to deal with,
Also, I have a friend, and she's a waitress at one of the comedy clubs, and she also works for the Transit Authority. I was there when she got her job, and she works in those booths. And she tells me people get pushed and fall onto the tracks so much more than we even know about.
Oh,
they don't report everything.
Well, you mean
all the time?
What, people getting pushed in front of the tracks?
They either fall or get pushed. And a lot of times it's just not reported. It happens much more than you would think. I was shocked when she told me that.
Hopefully because they are rescued.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe they're rescued, right? Maybe it's not as dramatic, I don't know.
I tell you what, I am looking like I'm always turning in circles when I'm down there.
Yeah,
I have my eyes behind, I'm always like this. And some of those guys who are limping, they are fast. Like, you'll look back, you're like, this motherfucker is here now. Like, you think you like got away because he's like,
Yeah.
Well, do you guys always go to either the end or the front of the platform to kind of get away from the middle of the mob?
I try to get away from the middle, and I also, like, if it's possible, like, I don't like stand like directly on the wall, but I stand like with my back like as close to the wall as possible.
I usually try and stand by one of the pillars. And lean against it a little bit, and keep my eyes open, so there's kind of like, or maybe stand right behind the pillar, because then nobody can push you in. But it's weird because when you go down to the front, it's less protected.
Yeah,
they want you to kind of stand in the middle by the toll booth person, but I love going to the end or the front. Now, the other thing is going to say, you don't take it at night.
I love it. Stay near an exit.
Yeah. That's what they ask you to do. They have a yellow zone where you're supposed to stay for safety, especially at night. Now, I've always told all the women that I know, especially comics or whoever, never to take the subway after, midnight or
Oh
11. And
yeah,
I know
I've
a
never
lot of
done
women
that.
that do because it's
I
cheap.
used to,
They get home, but
but
I've
not
told everybody
anymore.
I'll give them money to take an Uber home because you got to be crazy. I mean, as sexist as it is, it's dangerous,
It's not
really
sexist to
dangerous.
tell a woman to be safe. I mean, like,
Yeah.
listen, like, I tell people when I'm at the cellar, they think one, I don't hang out because of COVID. So that's one. Two, I'm always like, people are like, come on, Maria, you never hang out. I'm like, I got to get back on the subway before it gets really dangerous. I was like, you can do, I seen you like got your husband's picking you up or you got a car. I was like, I got to get on the
Yeah.
subway. So I can't hang
Yeah,
out.
you have to get out, before, I'd say before 11, but definitely
Yeah.
midnight, because that's, of course, after 11 or maybe after midnight is when the trains get worse in the sense of also their timing.
Yeah, it's like
You know, you
20 minutes
less
in between or
20 minutes
something.
in between, you're waiting there. So that's all bad too. But nowadays, I guess maybe it's easier because they have the app and it tells you when it's coming. So that could
Yeah,
be different than
slightly.
back in the day when I was taking them all. Oh God, I used to take them. I'd be on there all hours and have to go back to Queens and just wait for a transfer. That's the
Oh.
worst thing you can do. The absolute worst, especially at night.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we should probably go to some reviews. I have a negative one, but you go ahead
Oh, I've
and
never
do
heard
the
a negative one.
positive
Did I
one.
write it?
Yeah. No, I'm shocked.
Man, this show hates white people.
I'm gonna try to find it while you're reading yours,
Yeah,
Evelyn.
so we got some lovely positive reviews this week. So this one was actually on Apple Podcasts. It's referring to the episode last week, but it says great show, 5 stars from irreplaceable_indie, who said, I agree with Zainab because the last week Zainab Johnson was on the show. I always learn new things and I really enjoy Friends Like Us. Which was great. And just a reminder for everyone listening to give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts because it helps others find the show. We also just love to hear from you. And then there's this tweet from @Samuri_Shampoo who said, responded to a tweet about this current episode. Who said, thank you. I had my first mammogram. I had a great time listening to the show, and I learned so much that nobody is talking about. I love the show and all the work you do, which I thought was a really positive review because if you, the listeners, weren't tuning in earlier this week and on the podcast is about making sure to get your mammograms and
Which
breast
Meatloaf should
cancer
have done.
wellness.
Thank you.
Yes, exactly. And then we have this other review that came from the Friends Like Us email. It said, thank you to Friends Like Us for keeping me company every Wednesday. I'm so happy that Marina's getting all her creativity out there in lots of different ways. So yeah, those are the reviews that we had this week, and they're all very lovely.
Yes, see, those are the good ones, but I don't mind the bad ones.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you because sometimes people they got a view and they got to get it out. So this person said this episode, Marina was kind of rude. Which I am never, by the way. But she interviewed Rob Kirkland for over an hour, mostly ignoring her other guests. Interesting interview style. So I replied back. Oh yeah, wait. Oh, let me share it again. Hold on.
It's not.
I replied back. That's not negative. I being rude. This is how is never the intention. We have regulars that come on often, and so we like to focus on new friends when they're on. We've established this for the past month.
Yeah,
that was and they, of course, they replied again, which was unnecessary. I didn't need to see.
Then it's like, no. All I'm saying is, right.
Yeah, they kept, and that's when I knew they were kind of crazy, because I was like, my response was very like, it is true that for an hour we had Rob Kirkland. We've never had him on the show. He's in Yellowstone, and he's in Mayor of Kingstown. And both Zainab and Noye Brown West have been on several times. and they know how it goes. And then for the second hour, we do it for 2 hours. Our podcast is pretty long.
Yeah.
And I could tell he hadn't listened to the whole podcast because Zainab and Noye talked very much. That's why they're even commenting about Zainab in the one positive review that you gave us.
You do this to me all the time. You're always spending too much time with Evelyn. People are complaining, obviously.
People.
But yeah, so, and Rob Kirkland spoke for a while. So, if I was rude, I would have just interrupted him and not made him feel welcome. He's not a regular on the show.
No. And I think that's also a pattern that you've established even longer than a month, I'd say. Like, even like when I was like working in the podcast, I like typically like you get like maybe like one new friend a week and then have like regulars come back. And the regulars know that like if it's someone new that like the audience wants to hear more from them, and that's okay.
What do you mean, Eric Prince? He said the esque at the end of the name says it all. Let me see that.
Oh, I think the username had Esquire.
Is he a lawyer?
Let's see. Huh.
I like Subda.
Look, he has 39 followers, and
39.
If you look at his pictures that he puts up, it's a little scary. Can you see it?
No.
Oh, okay. Let me show.
That's it? That's all the pictures he has?
That's it.
Yeah, that's always terrifying.
Yeah, and it's just t-shirts with like, it's like look, you have restricted. Yeah, because after I saw those pictures, I was like, I don't know who this dude is.
Actually, that's a good show. The Avatar, the cartoon is really good. The movie was awful.
Yeah, I if I don't see your face,
I don't see, that's always a red flag, right?
Yeah, it's always a red flag, and I'm like, something is up with you,
right?
And you're a coward. Like I like people who like to stand by what they're saying and show who they are. If you don't have a face, if you don't I can't tell who you are. You're just a coward behind a keyboard. But I mean, the comment was not that bad, by the way. Right. It was just like,
no, but your point is exactly correct about the social media presence.
Oh, thank you, Stace. Well, Stace listened to it and she said, I love that episode. Zainab and Noye seemed to enjoy Rob Kirkland. I know I did, and I learned a lot. Yeah, because he was talking about, it was really interesting about picking roles nowadays. Are you an activist when you pick a role? Like, do you feel like when you pick a role, you should not take a role, let's say, that may be, like we were talking about Sidney Poitier, making these choices, that may be stereotypical or may not like feed the narrative, of what's going on right now.
Or his ability to overact.
Oh, thank you, Indira. Indira says that's a hater. It was a great interview. Yeah. So I think what he was trying to call out was me. Because I looked at who he also was following. He was following a lot of comedians. So I think he has like, you never know what people, they just want to kind of like push your buttons. Because I was just thinking to myself, I was like, I'm pretty sure if I was rude, I would not have interviewed him at the lengths that I did. I really try to go in and find out like how he got the role, which was very interesting to me. It was an offer. And it was an offer after he actually did not get a role previous with the same director. Which
what
a lot of
about a role of what?
In Yellowstone, Rob Kirkland, the actor.
You were serious when you said Yellowstone. I was like, I wonder if she's talking about that. She couldn't be talking about that TV show.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you might have.
Do I need to show him again? Hold on. I'll show him again so you get to see.
Also, I feel like if Zainab and Noye like aren't like pressed about it, then like why should this person?
Is it the guy on the left? Because he is handsome.
Yes, he is.
Damn.
Isn't he?
Yeah.
Look, this is him here.
Oh my.
It's a good headshot.
Oh, you
tell her as a.
Can you guys hear that?
As an actor, it's kind of a dream opportunity with just one of those shows, much less two, but also two because I don't consider myself an activist. But there's a lot of shit that has come my way that I said no to. You know what I mean? It's like, no, I don't want to do that because I also, while at the same time, I don't consider myself an activist. I want to be involved in stories that I feel personally touch a broader landscape that are, that are larger to me, but do it in a way that, again, is implicit. You know what I mean? I don't want to be part of a Schoolhouse Rock type thing. You know what I'm saying? But be part of something that sits back, and when you watch it or rewatch it, you think your own psyche, your subconscious starts to put things together. But also being very aware of the kind of the characters that I choose to play. It's as
I can't listen to anything he's saying. I'm just looking at him. I mean, he is gorgeous.
Well, hey,
Damn.
Juskow, maybe that little role you were playing at the restaurant is coming to fruition right now.
So.
Huh?
That's why I got great tips. I'm really good at it.
He is an attractive man.
Yeah, he's an attractive guy.
Yeah, he was very nice too. He was very pleasant. Like,
is he from somewhere else? I couldn't tell with his. Does he have a slight accent or?
Not that I didn't pick up any. No, but he's both in Mayor of Kingstown and in Yellowstone.
Oh, Mayor of Kingstown. I thought, see, everything you're saying, I didn't recognize the name or anything, even though he sounds like he has a Hollywood name. I thought he was actually the mayor of Kingstown, and I'm like, upstate in New York? Like I know. I thought you were talking about Yellowstone. For some reason, he's in 2 TV shows where the names of the cities are in, so it was confusing me.
Yeah, and he's it's part of Paramount Network. Yellowstone's on Paramount Network and
Is
Paramount
that the one
Plus.
With the guy from the guy that used to be really famous, from No Way Out, Costner. Is that the one with Kevin Costner? Yellowstone.
Yes. Yep. And it's very popular. I don't know if you guys have been getting advertising for it, but they've been really
oh my God,
pushing
I can't
it
because I don't like those kind of shows. I don't like
cowboy western.
I hate them.
And they have the 1883 is the it's like kind of going back.
Oh yeah, no, I can't. Ugh, it drives me. I hate it. I hate westerns. I don't know why.
Even the one with Clint Eastwood.
Which particular one are you talking about?
The spaghetti westerns.
Oh, the one we talking about, the Sergio Leone stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't love them. I'm okay with those kind, but I don't like westerns at all.
Because you like musicals.
Well, it's true, and there's something about westerns that get me nervous. That if I was born then, I think that would have been the worst time for me. I would not fit.
Well, this is what he covers in this, though. That's what's so great. That's why he's talking about this. Is they're talking about this land that was taken. I haven't really seen it, but he doesn't shy away from the reality of what was going on. It's not like they're like sugarcoating it with just like white people running around in cowboy hats.
I just don't like everybody being all sweaty. I think about their breath. I just, it's just, I hate everything about it. The fact that there's no television, everything just bothers me about the Old West. The only show I liked was The Wild Wild West with Robert Conrad because he was like James Bond. And they reported to General Grant in Washington. They didn't actually live in the West, and they lived on a train. I mean, everything about it was awesome.
Yeah, a lot of toxic men.
The movie was awful with Will Smith.
But this, I did watch some of it, and I gotta say, I was impressed. It was very different from. It's kind of like also like a little soap opera, like Dallas. Has a little bit of that.
But they always say that like that Clint Eastwood movie with Gene Hackman, Unforgiven, and Morgan Freeman, which I think won it all. I think it won everything that year that it came out. Like they're always like, oh no, you'll like people that don't like westerns like it. And it was really good, but I've never seen it a second time. And that was a good quality one.
The Harder They Fall, which is like it goes back to like some of the black cowboys that we never talk about.
Is that Sidney Poitier?
No, and the way you said Sidney.
What is that?
You have a bit of a black scent when you said it. It was so cute.
That's Sidney Poitier.
Did you hear it, Evelyn? Or was it just me?
Yeah, no, I heard it.
I didn't even mean it that time.
Evelyn was like, no, it's just happening. It's so cute. You're like, is that Sidney Poitier?
He's not in that movie?
No, it's with Idris Elba. And
it's new.
Yeah, and Dion Cole is in it.
What the movie? Oh, maybe
it's very good. It's very, very good.
Uptown Saturday Night.
And Regina King is in it.
She's great.
She lost her son today.
I don't. Yeah, what does that mean?
Her son
Oh, he committed
died.
suicide.
Yes,
Probably because
yes.
of those commercials she's doing. He's
Oh,
like, "God."
Juskow. Oh
She look. I
my
think she's really
God.
pretty. I
How
think
do
she's an amazing actress.
Oh, let's Evelyn, like that deserves a
It
knockout,
does,
right? I
yeah.
mean,
It's worthy.
oh my
Oh,
God, the
man.
timing on that.
Yeah.
Look. Then they want to oh no, I picked the wrong here. That black scent is as flagrant.
You're not wrong.
Oh
I love
God.
Aquafina. That's probably why. No, what did her son do? Like, why did he? Do
We don't
we know
know. I
anything? I
mean,
mean,
I
how old
don't
was he?
know.
26.
26. His birthday was just last week.
Oh, well, that's somebody that wants out.
Well, it's it's a big time for suicide right now. It's just like,
Yeah.
a lot of people are very
I
depressed.
have a notebook full of notes in case it happens. I think about it every day as a
What are
way
you
out.
leaving me? What are you leaving
In
me?
case it happens.
Well, in
Do
case
you
I
have me in your
pull it off.
will? Do you have a
I don't
will?
have a will.
You
I
better
just
get one. And can I get the arcade? It's just in case.
Yeah, let's do the arcade games are the
Okay.
important.
Can I get the arcade game?
Absolutely.
Both of them. Don't
There's a
give them
third
to
one.
Yamanika. Do not give them to Yamanika.
Okay.
I
Deal.
call it. All right. Well,
But I'm so sorry to hear that about her. And I
yeah,
like
it's
her
very
so much.
sad.
I mean, she's talking. I can't believe she's that. I figured out she was the girl from 227. I what a lifetime of acting. It's amazing. Then to win an Oscar.
Yeah. Oh no, Eric, I got the games. You don't get the games if Juskow takes himself out. I got the games. Okay. What is that photo behind you, Juskow? You do always have a different photo every
But yeah,
week.
but I've been keeping this because I stopped changing the photos. This
What
is
is that one?
a Dark Side, not Dark Side. It's Pink Floyd. Wish You Were Here poster.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Well,
Yeah.
I think this is an excuse to get out. It was David Tell's birthday. Did you do anything with David Tell? Speaking of birthdays in a positive way.
This guy's the worst. And I mean, we've been doing stuff for the past 30 years, and now it's like he doesn't even want to do anything. So we're planning on going out, and of course he always wants to go out at 9:00 at night, which nobody can make because they're all comics. And so now we're going out tomorrow at 6:30, and I'm so angry because the best football game of the week is at 6:30. I'm so angry. I might not go, but I think he'd be upset if I didn't.
Of course he would.
I've been hanging out with this guy. When he had his birthdays, it was the worst for me because I had a regular job, and we would have to, I mean, this is Mr.
Those were fun though.
Insomniac.
I remember going. I went to 2 of them, I think.
Do you know that one of the years or multiple years, we left an after hours place that he knew about, and I had to go right to work. We were right next door. The place was on Madison Avenue and 27th, and I worked on Madison Avenue 29th, so I went right to work.
Oh my God.
It was like 9 a.m, and I'm like, well, he's like, so what do you want to do now? And I'm like, what do I want to do now? But it was his birthday, so it was like in The Godfather. Like I can't turn down any request on David Tell's birthday.
I have a funny story. Hot Tim, who said he used to go and hang out with David Tell on his block. They would go when he used to drink, right? And on David Tell's block, he was like, well, let's go to this bar. And he was like, no, I'm banned from that bar. He was like, well, let's go to this bar. He goes, I'm banned from that bar too. He's like, well, which bar? All on his block.
Yeah.
Dave was banned
Oh my God.
from I don't know what he would do. It's just so funny. Like, what do you know? Like, does he talk
No,
about this?
I don't know of any bar he was ever banned from. It's a funny story, but I've never heard Dave being banned.
Would
from
Dave
any
joke
bar.
about how he was banned just because he didn't
I
want to
don't think
drink
he
on his
was.
block?
I think in his mind he was banned. It's not like me where I'm actually banned from bars, which is a fact. He never did anything wrong except over tip. He never got fall down drunk.
Yeah, I don't see him
So
being
unless
banned
he
from
was
a
sleeping
bar.
with the owner's girlfriend, he would not be banned from anywhere.
That's what
But he
I'm
might think
thinking.
in his head, oh, they hate me there because you know how he is.
Yes. Yeah, that's so funny.
Maybe he just didn't want to go there and use that as an excuse.
Yeah, I could see him doing that.
Because I've never known him to be banned from any bar. People loved him during that time. Loved him. You know, it not only did it bring business into their bar, but maybe they would come in and do an Insomniac shoot there. I mean, nobody banned him. Nobody would ever dare ban him, especially during that time.
Yeah. I think it's important before we go that what Stace said here is very important,
Mm.
that suicide leaves a legacy of pain. And my heart goes out to anyone experiencing such
It's true.
pain.
You don't realize who you're hurting that's going to be alive,
Yeah.
how painful it
So,
would be for like my mother and sister and stuff like that. It's a very selfish act, suicide. But unfortunately, sometimes it's the only answer.
oh, I did not know it was going to go
Go
that way
there,
with
yeah.
you. Like, what?
There are people you can talk to.
Depends what I think
Yes.
about. It's the
Just
only
Cal,
way out.
just
It's on the table for me.
leave me the arcade games and make sure I'm in. We need to work on your will.
Okay.
All right, guys, we do have to get out because I do have to head down to the cellar and in a little bit, my little risky trips on the train down there in the very cold weather.
Yeah.
And I'm going to not be listening to my music loud. I'm gonna have it down low so I can pay attention to what's going on around me. But I forgot to do this last week to ask what you guys are doing next and where they can follow you, where the viewers can follow you. We'll start with you, Evelyn.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Evelyn G. Frick. Right now I just have stuff with Reductors coming out. I also, not comedy related, for my job, I recently interviewed the New York Rangers hockey player Adam Fox. He's a really good hockey player.
Okay.
So that interview will be coming out, I think, this coming week. At the Jewish Telegraphic Agency. So you can, if you're interested in hockey or Jewish news, you can check that out.
Nice. I met my Jewish cousins last.
You showed me
North Carolina.
pictures. They look
Yes, yes.
Are they unattractive?
No, they look. Why would you say something like that?
Usually that's the case. Evelyn's the only good-looking Jew we've ever met, isn't that
what
true?
are you talking about? There's also Sarah.
Right, and she was an anomaly. That's why she was so interesting.
So, Juskow, where are you?
Nowhere. I am not doing anything. I don't do any more comedy. It's really weird. You can obviously on Tuesdays I do the football show, and I stopped even getting guests because I'm totally, because of this show, happy talking to people in the chat room, and I just like that. And that's it. And just my podcast, Juskow in the City. I continue to do it, which is odd that I call it Juskow in the City because I haven't been going out. So I don't even know what to tell you.
Aww.
It's awful. I'm in a bad place.
Well, there's other options. That's not the only answer.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot leave you on that note.
No.
I'll come over there and I'll talk to you or something.
Well, I like my Saturdays. I never want to do it on Saturdays if it's any consolation. I look forward to doing your show and seeing you guys.
God, I feel so responsible for when I don't do the show now. It's like, oh my God.
No, it's good sometimes, I guess. But oh God, I should have called it Juskow in the House. Oh no, people would have been furious. Juskow in the City is that perfect. Is he gay? Is he straight? I'm not. Why would he call it that? That's the perfect one. Juskow in the House would be. You guys would be angry at me somehow. I don't know.
It's so funny. Where you're talking about what you live for, I was typing in where they can see my shows. It was so insensitive. I just realized it. I was
no,
did
not
I
at
get
all.
that spelling right?
Don't be ridiculous.
Oh,
you're the best.
You're the best. You're the best, Jessica.
Having you as my friend,
Evelyn is the best too. Evelyn has just blossomed like a real flower. Like I see I can't wait for things to really open so I can do more shows and see you live and have you do some more comedy and come down. And I'm actually doing a couple of shows in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, February 12th. I'm risking it all. It's time to risk it all. I'm going on the road, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Go to my website.
You're not doing that place we did with Sarah that time, are you? The casino? That was terrific.
No,
right? Great crowd.
This is still Stacks, I believe. And then I'm also doing Princeton, New Jersey. I'm doing
Catch a Rising Star?
No, go to my website. It's not Catch a Rising Star, but I'm doing a show with Baron Vaughn and a couple other comics. But go to my website so you can see what that show is all about in Princeton, New Jersey. Lois will be driving me, so that'll be fun. If you want to go with us, Juskow, you're definitely, you're always welcome.
When is that?
That's February 26th, I believe.
Oh, you know what? I'm good. I can come.
And February 12th.
February 12th, I'm going to the City Winery to see my friend Paul Lauren, who is a wonderful musician who wrote our theme song for our Billy Joel podcast.
Ooh.
Great guy.
Ooh,
Yeah.
fancy.
I'm trying to get a date. It's really funny because it's almost Valentine's Day, so that's kind of a gag too. I'm going with Ilan and his wife, and I know it's just going to be the three of us ending up. But Evelyn, what are you doing on the 12th? All right.
February 12th. I'll look at my calendar. I'll get back to you.
Oh, that'd be exciting. Now that Saturday after that will be the podcast.
Maybe we will.
Went out with Juskow. Let me tell you about why he's single.
Nicole. I think Nicole Byer has a show like that. Like, Why Won't You Date Me?
Yeah, it's such a good podcast.
Mm-hmm. We have thought about doing some comedy shows online. We may still think about it, so just stay tuned. Until that time, make sure you check out the Friends Like Us podcast. Okay, that's what we do, and we'll be back next Saturday, same time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We want you guys to all stay safe. Make sure you wash your hands. Make sure you wear a good mask. N95. Not a fake N95. Like, I saw someone with a big N and I was like, that is definitely not the real mask. So make sure you get a good mask. Okay, that's important. Make sure you get vaccinated and get the booster. Some places they can't get it, so take advantage. This is where you can get it. So do that so you don't die. And don't forget, Black Lives Matter. Okay? All right. Bye.
Bye.